Headlines of VTV News. Prime Minister orders all-out efforts to cope with worst possible flooding. Vietnamese and Lao top leaders co-chair high-level party meeting in Hanoi. And later on in our world news, floods and landslides in northern Thailand.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of VTV News, broadcast live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Pham, and here's the top news of the hour. Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh on Wednesday asked ministries, agencies and localities to work around the clock in response to emergencies in the context of complex flooding situations in northern cities and provinces following Typhoon Yagi. His request was made before a cabinet meeting on law building held on Wednesday in Hanoi.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh ordered the engagement of the entire political system and the employment of all measures to cope with floods and landslides. All forces should utilize all available modes of transportation, including waterways, roads, and air travel, to deliver support to the affected people. This support should include essentials such as dry food, bread, other types of baked goods that can last at least 2 to 3 days, milk, drinking water, clothing, and medicine. He emphasized that flooding can lead to disease outbreaks and environmental pollution, so the Ministry of Health must ensure medical care, supply necessary medical supplies, and guide residents on how to treat drinking water and manage their environment to prevent disease outbreaks. The Prime Minister also requested a continued review and inspection to ensure the safety of dikes, reservoirs, and dams, with accurate assessments and forecasts to develop appropriate response plans. Efforts should be made to quickly evacuate people from dangerous areas.
This is a historic storm with very severe consequences. I urge the ministries and local authorities to concentrate all resources and measures to address the aftermath, ensuring that no one is left hungry, thirsty, cold, or without shelter. I call on the military and police forces and various political social organizations to clean up the environment, stabilize the situation, and restore livelihoods for the people. Children must be able to return to school, and citizens must receive medical care. I also appeal for a spirit of mutual support and solidarity in the public. Those who can offer help should do so, whether through labor, resources, money, or other means, so that we can overcome these difficulties together.
The Prime Minister has requested the reduction of administrative procedures and the swift distribution of reserves to support people, agencies, and localities. He also tasked the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Planning and Investment, in coordination with relevant agencies, to develop a program for addressing the aftermath of Typhoon Yagi, both in the short term and long term. This program should propose mechanisms and policies to support individuals, businesses, private enterprises, and cooperatives in recovering production and business activities.
After severe landslide occurred in Bao Yên District, Lào Cai on Tuesday, forces were quickly deployed to the scene to carry out search and rescue. Although the landslide covered a large area which is still deeply flooded, by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 35 deceased victims have been found under the huge pile of mud after 2 days of searching. Local authorities supported their funeral procedures according to the local customs of the victims on Wednesday afternoon. At present, the level of casualties in Lào Cai is the highest in the country and also the highest in the history of this locality. After 2 days of heavy rain and flooding due to the impact of Typhoon Yagi, statistics show that Yên Bái province currently has about 1,000 landslides, burying houses and causing human losses. On Wednesday, the inspection team of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment and the local government of Yên Bái province inspected some of the most serious landslides to try to find timely solutions.
This is the scene of a landslide that buried people's houses. Hundreds of cubic meters of earth buried 4 houses on Dien Bien Street, Group 5, Yen Ning Ward, Yen Bai City. The 2 people who previously rented a house here did not evacuate and are still missing.
The last time they called me was right before the landslide. Since then I've lost contact with them.
This is the most severe landslide point. We are determined to find victims in this area.
In addition to nearly 1,000 landslide sites, there are about 800 sites that are assessed to be at high risk of landslides. Therefore, in addition to clearing rocks and soil, the locality is assessing the safety of surrounding houses.
We have to reevaluate all the houses that are currently buried by rocks and soil or at risk of collapse, to ensure whether or not they can continue to be used. There is a safe solution for this landslide, which is to change the slope coefficient to ensure the safety of the people. Some dangerous locations will be relocated to safe resettlements.
Yen Bai Province has also been mobilizing all means to quickly transport all the earth and rock out of the city, ensuring safety and stabilizing people's lives.
On Wednesday, government leaders and army leaders inspected the situation and disaster recovery work in some localities.
Inspecting the situation of Thác Bà Reservoir and the operation of Thác Bà Hydropower Plant, Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thành Long requested Thác Bà Hydropower Company to strictly implement the Prime Minister's directions, giving the highest priority to ensuring the safety of the people. Up to this point, Thác Bà Reservoir, one of the 3 largest man-made reservoirs in Vietnam, remains safe despite huge water inflows.
Inspecting the work of overcoming the consequences of natural disasters in Cao Bằng, Deputy Prime Minister Hồ Đức Phước asked the local authorities to focus on search and rescue and provide relief to the people. As of Wednesday, floods in Cao Bằng have killed 24 people and injured 12 others. Currently, there are more than 30 people missing, more than 1,000 houses were damaged, and nearly 200 points of traffic routes were blocked due to landslides.
Inspecting flood response work in Tuyên Quang Province, Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết, Chairman of the General Department of Politics of the People Armies of Vietnam, requested local authorities to closely monitor the weather situation and take good care of people's lives, especially those from evacuated households. He also presented gifts to households subject to evacuation for flood prevention in Mỹ Bằng Commune.
Responses to storm and flood consequences and relief for people in disaster areas are still being carried out in many localities, such as Tuyên Quang, Hà Giang, Phú Thọ, and Cao Bằng.
In Tuyên Quang Province, communication with areas isolated by floods have been completely interrupted, with no electricity or phone signal. Nearly 250 electric poles have fallen and 3 power lines have been severely damaged. Tuyên Quang Provincial People's Committee requested localities to organize forces to guard round the clock and guide traffic safely.
In Hà Giang Province, 1 person has died and another is missing. Task forces of Hà Giang Province were mobilized to help urgently search for and rescue people in flood-hit areas.
Functional forces in Phú Thọ Province used every means to deliver emergency supplies to nearly 10,000 people isolated by floodwaters in Đan Thuận Commune, Hạ Hòa District. The city has evacuated nearly 300 households with nearly 2,500 people.
A helicopter of the Northern Helicopter Company departed on Wednesday afternoon to provide relief to people in flood-hit areas in Cao Bằng Province, transporting 600 kilograms of goods and food to the people. 3 helicopters of Air Force Regiment 916, Division 371, are also fully equipped and ready to participate in rescue operations in Yen Bai and Cao Bằng Province as soon as weather conditions ease.
To quickly mobilize resources to support communities affected by storms and floods, and in response to the launch of a national campaign to aid victims of Super Typhoon Yagi, the Central Relief Committee of the Vietnam Fatherland Front on Tuesday has announced their account number and contact information for donations. Many agencies, enterprises, organizations, and individuals have registered to donate. Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee President Đỗ Văn Chiến pledged that the Central Relief Mobilization Committee will use the support funds for the right purposes and allocate them promptly and transparently. As of Wednesday afternoon, organizations and individuals have donated a total of more than $17,000. In recent days, people in Ho Chi Minh City have kept up closely with news about the natural disasters in the northern provinces. Many people living in Ho Chi Minh City also wish to join hands and share in the hardships and difficulties people in the northern provinces are enduring.
Anxious and restless, like sitting on a bed of fire, is how Khánh has felt for the past 2 days. Her family is in a flooded area, and she hasn't been able to contact them by phone. All she can do is helplessly follow the news from her hometown through the media for hours on end.
My hometown is near the Thao River in Bai City. I know that my loved ones were evacuated, but I can't reach them by phone. It is very unsettling.
Leo rushed to the airport to fly back to the north. In recent days, she has set aside all her work, focusing on campaigning, collecting donations, and organizing supplies. She only packed a few sets of clothes for herself and filled her suitcase primarily with essential items.
What I remember about my hometown during times like this is indescribable, because the North is like my lifeblood. If I can do anything, with love for my fellow countrymen and my hometown, I will do what I can and set off to help with relief efforts.
Many individuals, groups, and charitable organizations have stepped up, calling for and mobilizing resources to help people in flooded areas.
Though we may not have much to offer in terms of material goods, the heartfelt support from us in the South will give those affected the strength to overcome these terrible disasters.
Typhoon Yagi and its subsequent heavy rains have caused severe damage, resulting in significant loss of life and property. The people of Ho Chi Minh City and the entire country are directing their thoughts towards the flood-affected areas, hoping that those struggling can feel the warmth of their solidarity and soon overcome these disasters.
Coming up next, Vietnamese Lao top leaders co-chair high-level party meeting in Hanoi. And Prime Minister chairs government's lawmaking session.
When it comes to business, it's crucial to choose a smart location with global impact. And Vietnam might just be the location for you. Connect worldwide to advanced logistics networks. Smart hub for technology and innovation. A dynamic business ecosystem. An environment with a competitive edge.
General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee and State President Tô Lâm and General Secretary of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party Central Committee and President of Laos Thongloun Sisoulith co-chaired a high-level meeting between the two parties in Hanoi on Wednesday. The two leaders briefed each other on the situation of each party and country, including party building and socio-economic development, and discussed international and regional issues as well as matters of shared concern.
The two leaders shared their delight at the substantial cooperation between the two countries across all fields, greatly contributing to promoting socio-economic development, security defense, political stability, and social order and safety in each country. They pledged to continue to reinforce and strengthen the Vietnam-Laos friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation, contributing to peace, stability, cooperation, and developments in the region and the world. They expressed their pleasure at the growing relations among Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, and showed their hope to further promote ties among the three parties and countries, including the effective implementation of the outcomes of the meeting among the leaders of the three parties, as well as other tripartite cooperation mechanisms. Leaders of the two parties and countries agreed on the need to actively carry out key orientations reached by leaders of the two countries, while continuing to deepen the bilateral political relationship that plays the key role in guiding the overall cooperation between the two countries. Coordinating closely in strategic issues and working together to prepare for the all-level party congresses toward the national congress of each party and strengthening and bolstering bilateral security defense cooperation. At the same time, the two countries will further improve the cooperation among agencies of two parties, states, fronts, unions, people's organizations, and localities, and expand direct collaboration. They agreed to support each other in boosting socio-economic developments and protecting security and stability in the shared border areas. The two sides affirmed the need to promote the efficiency and existing collaboration mechanisms and establish new ones to further boost the special solidarity between Vietnam and Laos for the practical benefits of the people in each country for peace, cooperation, and development in the region and the world.
As part of his ongoing state visit to Vietnam, General Secretary and President of Laos Thongloun Sisoulith met with nearly 400 former Vietnamese volunteer soldiers and experts in Laos, as well as Vietnamese students studying in Laos and the youth of both nations. General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm also attended the event.
General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith reflected on the enduring tradition of solidarity between Laos and Vietnam, which was established by visionary leaders such as President Ho Chi Minh, President Khe Son Phongvihant, and President Suphanavong. This bond, developed through the efforts of successive generations of leaders and solidified by the sacrifices of Lao and Vietnamese soldiers during revolutionary struggles, stands as a unique symbol of international solidarity. He highlighted that the Vietnam-Laos relationship is a cherished joint asset for both nations, defined by the principles of comradeship, solidarity, brotherhood, and friendship.
Comradeship embodies our ideals, and special solidarity has been proven through our alliance, with shared sacrifices of assets, lives, and blood. Brotherhood reflects our mutual support, as General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng described Laos and Vietnam as blood brothers. I urge everyone, especially the younger generation, to understand this deep bond and work to strengthen and enhance our friendship, safeguarding it from any hostile threats.
Earlier on Tuesday, General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm and his wife hosted a reception to welcome General Secretary and President of Laos Thongloun Sisoulith and his wife.
On Wednesday, receiving Lao General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn affirmed that the great friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between Vietnam and Laos all have strategic significance for the stability and development of both countries. He affirmed that the Vietnamese National Assembly will support Laos in successfully assuming the role of ASEAN Chair and IPA 45 Chair, support Laos in amending its constitution, and coordinate to strengthen the supervision of investment cooperation projects between the two countries. The Lao General Secretary and President sent his sincere condolences to the people of localities in Vietnam who are suffering great losses caused by Typhoon Yagi. He believes that the Vietnamese people will overcome all difficulties and soon stabilize their lives. The Lao General Secretary and the President believes that the cooperation between the two countries' parliaments will become increasingly effective. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Phie chaired a meeting of the government to discuss amendments and supplements to several articles of the law on the state budget, law on management and use of public assets, law on national reserves, law on accounting, law on independent auditing, law on securities, and the law on tax administration. He emphasized a number of basic principles and requirements, including ensuring citizens' rights to invest and do business, removing obstacles and shortcomings, expanding the mechanism for mobilizing resources for development, promoting decentralization and delegation of authority, promoting digital transformation, flexible and effective management in budget use, and transparency of payment documents. On Wednesday, receiving Tatsuo Yasunaga, chairman of Mitsui, Japan's leading multi-industry investment, business and trade group, Prime Minister Phie expressed appreciation for the group's efforts in implementing the Block B gas-to-power project chain, a series of projects of great significance to Vietnam's socio-economic development. He affirmed that the government will further provide support and facilitate Mitsui's successful investment in this project. The chairman of Mitsui Group affirmed that he will closely coordinate with partners to speed up the progress of the Block B gas-to-power project chain and expressed his desire to expand investment in Vietnam to aquaculture, seafood processing, forestry, biomass power development. Coming up next in our world news, floods and landslides occur in northern Thailand. And UN Assembly highlights urgent need for global unity. At least 4 people have died, 5 are missing, and hundreds are stranded after heavy rain slashed 2 northern provinces of Thailand, causing rivers to overflow their banks, causing floods and landslides. Rubber boats are unable to reach some flooded areas where hundreds of people are stranded and waiting for help. Currently, rescue work is facing many difficulties due to heavy rain and strong water flows. Affected by Typhoon Yagi, northern Thailand has been hit by prolonged heavy rains in recent days, affecting nearly 10,000 households in the area. A section of the Carola Bridge in Dresden, eastern Germany, has collapsed. Fortunately, there were no casualties. About 100 meters of the bridge, which connects Dresden's historic Old Town with other parts of the city, fell into the Elbe River. The entire area has been cordoned off, while river traffic has been temporarily suspended. People are advised to stay away from the area. The collapsed section of the bridge is used by trams and pedestrians. The section used by motor vehicles was not affected. The incident also damaged 2 heating pipes, cutting off the heating system in the surrounding residential area. Authorities are assessing the damage to prevent further collapses of the bridge. The cause of the incident is under investigation. 2 U.S. presidential candidates, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, had an engaging and lively debate in Philadelphia on Wednesday. Harris entered the live debate with a confident demeanor. She criticized Trump for his failures in foreign policy, a weak economy, and record trade deficits when he held the position of the 45th President of the United States. Trump criticized President Joe Biden's administration for unprecedented high inflation and an immigration policy that is harmful to the United States, according to Trump. A key point of the debate was foreign policy. The 2 candidates expressed almost completely opposite views regarding the Russia-Ukraine conflict, peace in the Middle East, and the conflict in the Gaza Strip.
She didn't want that.
The 78th session of the UN General Assembly closed on Tuesday, concluding a tumultuous year in international diplomacy and underscoring the need for a collective resolve among nations to confront pressing challenges. More in the following story.
Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the past year had been marked by ongoing poverty, inequality, and conflict, emphasizing that it was also the hottest year on record. Addressing the session's final plenary meeting, he highlighted the hope and inspiration in what can be achieved if the global community worked as one.
We close the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly after a tumultuous year. A year of continued poverty, inequality, and injustice. A year of division, violence, and conflict. A year that was the hottest on record again. But this session also closes at a time of growing hope and inspiration in what we can achieve if we work as one.
Addressing the Assembly for the final time in that capacity, President Denis Francis underscored the importance of unity, urging nations to confront global challenges with all available resources to build a more secure future.
Sustainability is the thread that connects all aspects of our work. It ensures that the foundation we lay today will support a stable, just, and thriving world for generations to come. Let us all, therefore, individually and collectively, choose sustainability and recommit ourselves to this most critical endeavor, for it is only through sustainability that we can secure the future of our shared planet.
The meeting also saw Phie Yang, President-elect of the 79th session of the General Assembly, take the oath of the office of the President of the General Assembly. Yang declared he would perform his duties truthfully as Assembly President, acting in all loyalty, discretion, and conscience.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4Go. Goodbye for now.